everybody. I just wanted to start off by letting you know who I am and what we're doing here. My name is Rachel, and I have loved to cook from a really young age, and that's probably due to my grandmother. This is her cookbook. This cookbook is actually from 1987, I think it was published. And as you can see, it's got all of so much stuff just jammed in here. You know, I've gone through it since she passed in 2006, and it just seems like there's a lot of pages that are saved on things she wanted to possibly make or that she did actually make. There's a lot of recipes off of newspaper clippings, and actually where I just happened to open it is one of my favorite recipes. It's a chocolate chip cookie recipe. And it was the one that she made when I was a kid, and it was just one of my favorites, and I actually make it for my son now, who's 11 years old. But today, we are actually going to make a recipe. We're actually going to make a recipe. This has got to stand up. We're going to make a recipe that was inside the book. It was actually a letter that was addressed to my grandmother at her residence. It's time-stamped 2003. And it's from my Aunt Ginger. And my Aunt Ginger actually passed away in 2014, I think. So this is kind of like a little bonus special treat for me. I was close to both of them. And this happens to be a recipe for a pumpkin roll, which I've never even made before. Out of all the things I've made in my life, a pumpkin roll is not one of the things that I've ever attempted. Maybe because I don't have a huge liking for pumpkin. My husband does, though. I plan on going through this book and finding recipes that I think my grandmother may have wanted to make or may have actually made, and I plan on remaking them to be close to her again and to do something that I love to do. Maybe my kid will join me. Probably not. So today, pumpkin roll from Aunt Ginger. It says, "Mom, see, I didn't forget. Love, Ginger." It's a little passive aggressive, especially for a sent in the mail recipe, not just a text message, but that's the way my family was. So, all right, I have pre-measured everything here. So the first thing we're going to do is going to be the filling. I've got my handy dandy bowl, and we're going to start off. It was a cup of powdered sugar. And then it was 4 tablespoons of margarine, which is actually funny because I looked at it and somehow I still managed to soften a whole stick and put a whole stick of butter in here. It was only 4. It's a half a stick of butter. So half a stick of butter into the bowl, maybe. There we go. And then it was 8 ounces of cream cheese. This is a full 8 ounces, just taken out of the package. This is why I pre-measured everything, because I knew just pulling stuff out was going to take me a hot minute. Oh, look, it's like a tower. Get down. All right. So a tip I like to do is don't measure your stuff out over the bowl, because that's how you end up with a lot of vanilla. And you didn't need that much. So we're going to do a half teaspoon of vanilla. Oop. All right. And now it says beat until creamy and smooth. I know a lot of people tend to use a stand mixer. I have 2. I actually have one that was my grandmother's. I'm just not a fan. I don't know. I've always just loved using the hand mixer. This one is actually new to me. Mine was super duper old. So this is actually a first time use here. But looking like it's doing the job. This is already starting to look nice and creamy. Dupe. Alright. This is actually one of my favorite tools. Not only does it help really well with sliding the ingredients off the sides of the bowls, it actually has measurement conversions and equivalents. So that's good for me. Just gonna throw all this off of there real quick. I think I like it. Filling is mixed. We're gonna move on to our actual pumpkin roll and set this off to the side for now. So now that we've done our filling, which it also does say you can sprinkle with chopped nuts if you'd like. And I do have some walnuts, but I think I'm going to pass on that today, and we're just going to keep it simple and move along. So it starts off with 3 eggs in your, this is going to be all of your wet ingredients. Just like with measuring things in a separate bowl, especially liquid stuff, I also crack my eggs into a separate dish beforehand. So crack, dump, crack, dump, crack, dump. That's crack, dump. That's funny. And that's just to make sure that you don't get any shell. And if you do, you're easily able to get it out. And B, if it happens to not be a good egg, or what is it, like a blood egg, I remember, which, you know, I was taught that back in high school. So it's always good to crack your eggs into a separate bowl. All right, so we're gonna give a crack and give a dump. There is a trash can off screen. I'm not just throwing eggshells into the floor, onto the floor. And I'm making it. She got skills, ladies and gentlemen. 3/4 cup of sugar, which honestly, until it's in a dish, you know, by itself, it doesn't seem like that much sugar. And you're like, wow, that's so much. Sugar's good though, I guess. Tastes good, not good for you. So we're gonna dump the sugar in the bowl. And then 2/3 cup of pumpkin puree, which is just your basic canned pumpkin that I grabbed. And I have a spoon over here. So we're gonna dump the pumpkin in. Ew, that sounds awful. Right. Next, we're going to do 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And yeah, I'm using this kind of lemon juice. And that's because I had a lemon. Actually, I lost my teaspoon. I had a lemon and I used it for something else. Completely forgot that I was going to use it for the pumpkin roll. So instead, we're going to do 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. We're going to do it over the sink because I've already thrown all my bowls in the sink. And just to double check, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Thankfully, there was enough of that. Dump the lemon juice in. And actually, I think I'm good on these now. So the next step is a dash of salt. Yeah, we're going to do a dash of salt. All right. Nice big pinch. Cream all of this together. All right. So now that our pumpkin puree is all mixed, our dry ingredients, which I already have pre-measured, it is 3/4 cup of flour. It is 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, so 1, 1, 1, and then 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm going to actually give this a whisk. Usually you want to sift together all of your dry ingredients so that they're well incorporated before you add them to your wet. You can just do this with a whisk, a fork, a sifter, if you're fancy enough to have one of those. I actually found those to just be a little redundant because this is just as easy. All right, so it says just mix well, add dry ingredients, mix well. So I think I'm going to just stir them in instead of beating them in. So we got our wooden spoon, we're gonna add these in. I'm gonna add it in gradually just because, you know, I try not to add everything in all at once. If you're interested or you care at all. I took, as far as cooking goes, I took every single cooking class you could take in my high school, which actually, you wouldn't think it would be that many, but it was. And then I worked in a restaurant in high school, and I was a line cook and a prep cook, and yeah, once summer hit, I was prep cooking. I did everything there. I was a hostess. a dishwasher, a busser. The only things I couldn't do were wait tables and be a bartender because I was underage, so I couldn't serve alcohol. Once, you know, the restaurant business was something I didn't do for very long because I wasn't super in love with it. But I still loved cooking, so I cooked a lot, especially once I became a mother. I cooked a lot at home. And with my grandmom, that's what we did. I used to just stand on a little chair on one side of the island and watch her cook, and it became one of my favorite things to do. And now I am a lunch lady, actually the only lunch lady at a Catholic school. And it is honestly one of my favorite jobs, one of the best jobs I've ever had. So I was going to try and do something a little different with my life, and that still cooking, obviously. But it was to try and, you know, bring some of my grandmother back into the world. And I feel like this is a really good way to do it. So thanks for coming with me. All right, so we've got everything mixed in. It is folded in. David, fold the cheese. So my pumpkin's all set up. And what I'm going to do next is, it says to put everything in a jelly roll pan lined with wax paper. So I'm going to get my pan and my parchment paper all set up. And then I'll come back to show you how to put it in. And then we'll bake for 12 to 15 minutes at 350. My oven is already preheated. And usually I try to tell people that, and I forgot. So you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350. Let it get all the way up there, and then stick it in. 12 to 15 minutes. Usually you will insert a toothpick. If it comes out clean when it's done, then that means it is fully cooked. If it comes out and there's still, it looks a little wet, then it's obviously not done yet. So let me go ahead and get that ready, and then we'll be back. Okay. So now that I've got this jelly roll pan somewhat lined with parchment paper, because I have a love-hate relationship with this stuff. At my job, you know, I've got big sheets and they fit perfectly onto the sheet pans that I use. When I'm at home, it drives me nuts because nothing fits perfectly, and then you're trying to, whatever. Anyway, so now that I've got this kind of set up, we're going to just pour it into the jelly roll pan with the lined paper. Remember, this is my first go around making this, so no judging. Let's be kind. And if I do anything wrong, I'm always down for constructive criticism. No need to be mean, like I said. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pour this in. And I'm assuming, because it doesn't seem like very much, I'm assuming I'm going to have to level this out. There are a couple ways to go about doing that. I feel like I'm talking into the bowl right now. I'm going to have to smooth this out because it is clearly not going to cover the entire pan as far as how much is in here. It really doesn't seem like a lot, does it? Definitely. I picked out a, you know, I Googled. I was like, well, how big of a pan should I use? Google told me, what was it? Like, what was it? 15 by 10? Something like that? I don't know. But I think the pan I got is a little bit too big, but that's okay because we just need to even it out and maybe it'll cook well. We'll see. This could be a giant disaster. All right, we're going to just do that because it looks good enough. We'll see. This doesn't seem correct. Who knows? So I'm going to stick it in the oven now, and then I'll come back in 12 to 15 minutes. We'll see if it's done. Let it cool, and then we'll add the filling and give her a roll, I suppose. Wish me luck. Okay, so we're back with the out of the oven product. It is cooled down for the most part. It definitely was a lot smaller, and it didn't spread it. It didn't cook up the way I thought it was going to, but it's okay. We're going to work with what we have, and I'm sure it's still going to taste great. So next we're going to just layer the filling on the top of the jelly roll. I'm still undecided if I want to put walnuts in it. I don't think I'm going to, but let's just get started with this. I'm going to continue to use my filling here, my handy, this thing, but we're gonna just put some on. It's probably gonna be too much filling now, I assume. Oh, maybe not. Let's get all of that on there. All right, scoop the side and plop it on. Okay, use this tool. Not even sure what this is, but I've seen so many people use it, or what it's called, I should say. But they use it for cakes, and I assumed it would be it's like a giant spatula. Well, I'm gonna make a mess though, I'm sure. So I'm just gonna try and spread it as evenly as possible. And honestly, as I've gotten older, I have come to learn that I am not much of a baker. You know, more savory food than I am sweets. I tried to make a gelatin cake one time. That was a disaster. So we won't be doing that, I don't think. But most of this book has sweets and it has savories. It has all of the stuff. So really we're just gonna go day by day and see what looks interesting. But for now, and this doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. So, you know, I think I'm doing okay. Maybe not. All right, so we spread it evenly. I'm not gonna go for the nuts. And from what I've seen, I just need to roll it now. And I guess the easiest way is probably, wait, should I do it that way or this way? Oh no. Now we have a dilemma. Do I want to roll it long ways? It would be a longer roll, but not as big. Maybe that way, yeah. All right, we're gonna try that way. So I'm gonna use the parchment paper to start the roll. Maybe keep it rolling. Okay. We're still rolling. Give it another roll. Oh no, it's breaking. Oh, that seems okay. So, I don't know. It's rolled. I don't think it's rolled very tightly, but so we're gonna cut it down the middle. And yeah, I don't have a cutting board here, so shh, don't tell anybody. All right, let's see what it looks like. It looks all right. It's a lot of cream cheese in the center, but it's a mess. But I'm not a super sweet person. It does taste good. I think there's a lot of filling compared to my my roll job here. Do I think my husband will enjoy it? Yes. Do I think my aunt and my grandmother did a better job than me? Maybe. Maybe my grandmom? I don't really know. Maybe. Either way, it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. I hope my husband eats it because I don't think the 11-year-old's going to, and I'm probably not going to, but I know he likes pumpkin, so that was definitely a reason why I decided to make it. If you liked what you saw, maybe you could like and subscribe, and we'll see you here next time. I think next video is going to be about Randy Travis's old-fashioned oatmeal cookies. This is a recipe that was inside that book. My grandmother was a really big Randy Travis fan, so I figure we can start here. I'm pretty good at cookies. All right, well, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.